So we all would love to feel comfortable when we speak in front of a crowd, whether it's that PTA meeting you're presenting at, a neighborhood function, even a church meeting. So today we're turning to an expert for some pointers on how to take the stress out of public speaking. Joining me is Dr. Jennifer Cummings, a communication professor and consultant at the University of Utah. And we're joking, no pressure being an expert on public speaking on a public platform like television, right?
Right, so I'm going to emphasize it doesn't have to be perfect.
There you go, that's point number one. But is there a way to take the fear out of it, or maybe just reframe it in a way that doesn't feel so nervous and shaky to us?
Yeah, and if you have public speaking anxiety, you're not alone. Most people do. And I feel like the reason that we get so nervous is we put too much pressure on ourselves. We make it mean so much, and we think that the audience is going to be judging every single word and that it has to be perfect. I think the frame that we need to shift is it's really about the audience. We're there to give something to them, and we have to find what we love about the topic and what we appreciate about the audience and make those two things connect. We're there, we have this phrase called WIFM, what's in it for me? And that's what the audience is thinking. What's in this for me? And that's what we're going to try to deliver, something that's meaningful for them.
I love that, and I agree wholeheartedly. It's almost a selfless mindset, right? You take the pressure and the attention and the drama off of yourself and put it on those you're speaking to, and it does reframe and change the dynamic. You say good speakers, good public speakers do a couple of things really well. First, they start and they end strong. Why are those bookend points so crucial?
Okay, you really do not want to throw away the intro and the conclusion, and that's what happens. So with the introduction, you want a strong start for a couple of reasons. One, it'll take away your nerves. You'll feel like I know what I'm going to say the first few seconds as I'm working out the jitters.
So polished and even rehearsed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have it memorized. You don't really need to memorize the whole speech or talk, but I think having the beginning and end memorized frees you up to connect with your audience, allows you to make eye contact. We only have the first few seconds to really make a connection with our audience. They're deciding if they're going to stay tuned in or not in those first few seconds. So we want to have the eye contact right then and make it feel personable. And we want a strong line. It can be a quote, a statistic, a question, a joke, a declaration, something really meaningful. But don't apologize, don't make excuses, don't start with well, so okay, just something really strong.
Which is a default, and I think we assume it's going to be humanizing if we make those excuses, right? Yeah. Or we kind of blow off our own preparation, which is done a lot of times in those public church settings especially, but starting strong really can earn you points down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And then ending strong as well. Sometimes you'll hear a terrific talk or speech, and then the speaker gets to the end and they haven't really thought about how to end it.
They're like, and we're done.
Yeah, they just kind of shrug their shoulders and say, that's all I got. And it's kind of sad for them because they've done a great job. So you want to think to that last line, what note do you want to go out on? Have, again, a strong quote or a call to action or some memorable take-home point.
A good public speaker, you say, and I 100% agree, is a good storyteller. Good stories can make or break it.
Yeah, storytelling is so great. It does teach a lesson. It conveys information, it can inspire, but the point is it's more memorable. People remember it more than they do bullet points or numbered lists, and it's also emotional. It taps into our human connection and our human experience, so we are moved by it. And we're impressed by information, but we're really moved by emotion and storytelling.
And it allows you, I think, as the speaker, at least this is my personal experience, to go off script and just talk and just be and, you know, socialize human to human. I have this rule of thumb when I speak that for every 10 minutes I speak, I need one story, because stories also fill time. Let's be honest, they also fill that space.
They do, and they put you at ease. And the audience likes it. They like to see the human side of you and hear what has been meaningful and what you've gone through, and it's relatable to them.
You mentioned the eye contact. We know that's important. What about the pace of our language?
Yeah, pacing is important because some of us get faster when we speak and some of us get slower. It depends on what kind of a reaction we have to that fight or flight response that most of us feel when we start speaking. So just be aware of what you're more likely to do. You might want to breathe a little bit more to keep your pace slower and sound a little more conversational. Or if you tend to freeze up, then you might want to practice a little more and get the words fluid and flowing.
There's this idea out there, and you hear communication experts kind of tout this all the time, or life coaches mention this as well, that you can turn nervous energy into excitement. Is that legitimate?
Yeah, it really is. So oddly, we have the same type of physiological response if we're facing a predator or an audience. And the same kind of hormones get us charged up. Adrenaline. Yeah, it's really interesting. So we need to redefine that. In most cases, the audience is friendly. They're rooting for us. They want you to do well. So we have to change what it means for us. when you notice those signals of my heart's racing, I'm sweating, I'm jittery, we always diagnose it typically as nervousness. And this isn't going to go well, I'm going to blow it, I'll forget everything. And really, those are often the same signs of excitement. So if you reframe it as, instead of look how nervous I am, look how excited I am. I'm kind of prepared. I'm excited to show them what I've studied, what I've learned, what I think is going to help them. And you reframe it to be positive. If you can't quite feel excited yet, at least think of it as energy. My body's just helping get me ready to perform, to be able to do this at a high level.
I tell people here in the studio, because it's not quite the same translation, but obviously it's a public platform, that nerves are good, I find. A little bit of nervous energy or nervous excitement can really carry you far. I had a girlfriend once too, was giving a huge speech, very high pressure, huge audience, and I remember I asked her, how are you feeling? She goes, I have those big feel-good butterflies, is how she described it. And I said, that sounds like sick to your stomach, but in a really positive way, so we'll take it.
A little more energy and even jittery is better than monotone and flat.
Yeah.
Right?
Winging it, obviously not a good idea. You talked about the preparation. Should you practice, Jennifer? Should you actually like verbally practice out loud?
I think so. Some people can wing it. I think they're in the minority though. I think for most of us, we think it's going to be more spontaneous if I wing it, but it's really not the best idea, because you get more confidence and you can be more flexible with your material if you really know it well. So practicing it doesn't mean you have to be scripted or sound canned. We don't want that. But it means I know this inside and out, and that gives me freedom to go off script if I want, or to stop for a question, or to change my wording. I really know it so well, I've practiced it, that I can be more free and be myself.
It gives you confidence to wing it in smaller pockets during the actual public speech. The one thing you say we all need to remember when we get in front of an audience, big or small, it really comes down to that humanizing experience, just to be yourself and try to connect heart to heart.
Right. It might sound a little cliche, but it's about authenticity. I think the most attractive, appealing thing to an audience is if you're being real with them.
They can tell.
They can tell. We hear so many scripted, perfectly polished messages, and those aren't really what we're hungry for. We're really hungry for human connection. We want to hear who that person really is and what they've been through and why they care about this and how they're connecting with me. So being yourself and show some personality, share some stories, let them be vulnerable a little bit. Let them see how you think and feel and what this has meant to you.
Great advice, and I think great attitude toward the whole scary picture. Just pressure off, be yourself.
It can be a lot more fun than we think it will be.
Okay, we're going to end on that. We're going to bookmark this for the next time you have to public speak. We'll post this conversation on our website if it's helpful, studio5.ksl.com. Great to see you, Dr. Cummings. Thank you so much.